Okay, welcome back to part 4 of Lesson 21 for 8th grade, Analyzing Modern Fiction. So let's go ahead and answer the questions. We just finished reading the two stories. We read The Labyrinth and we read Of Monsters and Mazes. And now we're going to go ahead and answer the questions that follow. So number 1 says, what aspects of the Theseus and the Minotaur myth has the author of The Monsters and Mazes drawn from to tell the Thea story? Now, the hint says which answer choice best represents the similarities between the two stories. So let's go ahead and let's look at the answers. So A says she puts Thea in a situation in which she must use a ball of string to help her escape. Now, does Thea use a ball of string at all in her story? No, she does not. So A does not make sense as the best answer choice. B says she implies that Thea's father and King Minos have similar motives. Well, honestly, the story doesn't highlight a parallel between the father and the king at all, so this would not be a good answer choice. C says she updates Theseus as Thea, Ariadne as Aaron, the Minotaur as Miss Minerva, and the Labyrinth as the new school. Now, this does make sense. The author does update the characters by putting them in similar situations and giving them similar characteristics. So C might be our best answer choice. But let's look at D. It says she portrays Ariadne as Aaron and has Aaron defy his father in order to help Thea find her way through the labyrinth. That's not exactly what happens at all. Aaron doesn't defy his father in any way. So D would not be the best answer choice. So in this case, our best answer choice is going to be C. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2's hint says, look back at the details you circled in the two texts. What message is common to both stories? So number 2, the question says, what shared theme is suggested by Theseus's and Thea's situations? So A says, it is important to ask for help when you are in a difficult position. Well, Thea and Theseus don't necessarily ask for help, so that's not really the best answer choice. Help was given to them, but they did not ask for it. So A, I would cross out. B says, true courage involves facing your fears and making sacrifices. Well, in both stories, we did talk about how they had to make a sacrifice. Thea made a sacrifice by leaving all her friends behind, and Theseus was basically sacrificing his life because there was a big chance that he would be eaten alive by that Minotaur. So B would be a possible answer choice. So I'm going to keep that one in mind. C says disobeying your parents can get you into a lot of serious trouble. Well, in the story, neither character, Theseus or Thea, disobey their parents. So this would not really be the best answer choice. So I would cross it out. D says you shouldn't always believe what you hear about someone. Well, here's the choice. The thing about choice D. Only the modern version suggests this theme. The one about Theseus does not suggest this theme at all. So because it's only for one, it's not a shared theme, so this would not be the best answer choice. So that leaves me with B being my best answer choice. So I would circle B. Now, number 3 says, describe how the plot of Monsters and Mazes reinterprets the myth of Theseus and the Minotaur to tell a new story, using two details from the text in your response. Now, look at the hint. It says, keep in mind that events and characters can be parallel even though they have differences. How is the basic plot line of the two stories the same? So that's what we're going to really be answering, is how is the plot similar? Okay? So remember, when you have short responses like this, if they ask for two details, that means that you need to go back into the text and find two specific details that you can give. Now, again, using my hints, I'm going to use that as my guide for my answer. So I'm going to put both stories plots are similar because notice that's what they're asking us is to explain the similarities. And so in this case, we're talking about the plot. So how the plot are similar. So both plots are similar. The heroes have to make their way through a maze. And they're making their way through this maze to find a monster. So we're going to put monster in quotation marks because Thea's is technically not a real monster. It's just a teacher. Well, the Minotaur would be considered a real monster, though. So they are given a tool by someone they care about. Remember that Thea was given a map by her boyfriend Aaron, and Theseus was given a ball of string by Radney. So to help them from getting lost. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paraphrase a detail here. So I'm going to say Ariadne gives Theseus a ball of, oops, I went too far, a ball of string. And if I look back in the story, I can see that she gave him a ball of string in paragraph 3. So I'm going to put paragraph 3. And then I also know that Aaron gives Thea a map, and she gets this map from him, or at least they mention this map in paragraph 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put paragraph 2. And then I'm going to say of monsters and mazes is made new in that the monster turns out not to be a monster after all. Okay, so go ahead, you can pause your video, you can write that in, and then when you're done with that, you're going to be moving on to Odysseus and Circe, and from Summer of the Mariposas, you're going to read both of those texts, and you're going to notice that both texts have similarities. They're going to have similarities in theme, in plot, and in characters. Okay, so this has been lesson 21 for 8th grade, analyzing similarities in elements in modern fiction. And hopefully now you understand a little bit better how to analyze those elements of modern fiction.